drop alone can't do anything. And then I'd like to talk now a little bit about the people around our conference, the organizations who are helping us to make it possible. So this is our first global conference under the topic Education and Sustainability. You know that it's a hard work organizing a conference, but we are lucky that we have people behind us that are supporting and helping. So our special thank you goes to our supporters, Global Edu Leaders Forum and Global Delhi Public School for supporting us. Universidade de Aveiro from Portugal. Our special thank you goes to GEMPA, Grupo de Estudos Multidisciplinar em Produção Acadêmica, that is under the coordination of Professor Maria Emilia. And our special thank you to her, because 80% of the articles that we have, they came from her and her students. Thank you, Professor, for your support. Also, mestrado em sistemas produtivos, there are 4 universities together here, and then they are doing a great job around there, and they are supporting our conference as well. MIT Square, we transform your life. They are also helping us and supporting our event. Raj Square, count on us anytime. Thank you for your support. Thanks for believing in the work that we are doing. Also, believe in the online English school, an English school to help you achieve your goals. Next one, Dr. Valeria Sikorski Hadlik. She is a doctor surgeon and she is a member of Grupo Brasileiro de Melanoma. She's also helping us. Bank Sikobi, also. Thank you for your precious help. Our thanks also goes to Global Academy. Thanks a million for your support. Also, Budankan University from Jansi under Dr. CB hand. And Wasuda University also, Science Foundation. Thank you so much. FUSA, the University from Florida, USA. Agencia de Patio University, the Innovation University. They're also supporting our conference. Centro Universitário FACVEST. VLS Bisotto, Assessoria Acadêmica e Contábil, under our dear Beatriz Lúcia. Thank you so much. And then these are some of our supporters. Thank you so much. As said before, alone we can't do anything, but if we hold hands together, we can make things real and we can make things happen. Thank you, everyone, and let's proceed to our conference.
José Luiz Miguel.
On a very humble note, I think I request Professor Luiz to bless us with your kind words and guidelines. Professor Luiz.
Thank you. Thank you. Greetings to all the members here present. And first of all, of course, I would like to convey my warmest gratitude and respect towards Mr. S.K. Singh And I'm sure next time we'll meet in person in Portugal and we will overcome difficulties and constraints. Because if we have the will and if we have the determination, and I'm sure we can overcome these barriers. And of course, we'll also like to thank Professor Beatriz Bisotto, my esteemed colleague, my esteemed friend, who has been working so hard so that we can meet here today and establish this connection between Brazil, Portugal, India, and these times are times to be united. As Mr. SK well said, these are times who need common energy. These are times that need collaboration. These are times that we need to think about our priorities regarding sustainability. And education is a key element for us all to understand that our path is only one regarding 2030. And this path is, of course, to establish, first of all, and determine a priority regarding education. Education cannot just be a topic, cannot just be an approach. It has to be an understanding. It has to be a framework for all of our actions. And if we decide that education is the basis for our societies, then we are truly committed regarding development, regarding sustainable development, and regarding the aims that UNESCO has determined for us to achieve and accomplish by 2030. So again, I would like to say that it is an honor and a privilege for me to be here. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you, Mr. SK, for your leadership. Thank you, Mr. SK, for guiding us in this endeavor. I'm sure we'll continue this path with a lot of good ideas, a lot of events, and a lot of good elements for us to remember about this common path. So, my dear friends, my dear colleagues, I would like to share a presentation about the importance of education today and some of the most important challenges that we are dealing with in this 21st century. So allow me to share so that we can have a guideline regarding some thoughts. So when we think about education and the first 21st century, first we think about the challenges. And the challenges regarding education are not just challenges that are affecting one single country, one single nation, are challenges that are affecting everyone and everybody worldwide. So this is a common challenge. This is why we need to understand that we have to establish guidelines, establish frameworks for action that are global. And then, of course, we have to adapt those guidelines and those frameworks regarding our countries, regarding our regions, our districts, our cities, our villages. So we have to adapt, we have to be flexible. So these are some of the challenges we're facing today regarding education. How to understand the need of having global solutions and act locally. So this is a global opportunity that we have nowadays in our hands. On the other side of this very interesting 21st century is a set of frontiers that we're now crossing, and some of those frontiers are still here today because the United Nations and UNESCO defined 2030 as our common objective, and this common objective is all about having quality education, education for all, and these goals are a great challenge. And I think we all agree that we have to work harder and harder to pursue these challenges so that they cannot become frontiers. So when I think about these frontiers, let us try to begin to understand the horizons regarding what we're doing now and what we can do regarding our next years to come. So first of all, let us begin by emphasizing some of the key messages from a very important report from UNESCO entitled Education in a Post-COVID World, 9 Ideas for Public Action. And from this report, I would like to say that we have learned a lot from the COVID experience. One of the most important things that we have learned from the COVID experience is that we have to work together. And we saw how the whole world was affected by this global crisis. And we saw that we had to share best practices from one continent to another, from one country to the other. And when we were online, for example, in conferences just like this one, we could share those best practices and we could help one another. We could help another colleague that we had in another country saying, I'm working like this. I have, for example, this plan regarding my curriculum, regarding my syllabus, and I think you can use this. And on the other hand, the other colleague would say, this is a very good option. Let me share what I've been doing with my students, because perhaps it can be of value to you. So we learned how to cooperate during the COVID-19 crisis. It was very important. It was a terrible time for humanity, but we learned the importance of collaboration. And of course, when we're thinking about Education 2030 and the Incheon Declaration, we're not just talking about a report, it's not just a declaration, it's a framework for action. And it's very important to have documents, it's very important to have reports, it's very important to have guidelines, but most important is to take action. So we have to take action, esteemed colleagues and esteemed friends. And action is needed regarding our sustainability, and action is needed regarding our educational systems that must change a lot if we want to give our children a better future. And of course, as all this is connected, it is also connected with the demands that are coming from the labor market. This is why the OECD shared a report entitled The Future of Education and Skills, Education 2030. And this is all about the future we want. This means that the future we want is connected with a reframing style, a new type of mindset that connects knowledge with skills. And a few years back, we were more focused on knowledge than skills. Nowadays, we're more focused on skills than knowledge. This is a huge difference regarding our educational systems. And of course, this is also connected with research, because teaching and learning are truly connected with research. If we cannot conduct research, we cannot give our students the most up-to-date resources, the most up-to-date information about what's happening, and they cannot fully understand the need for this collaboration we are talking about. And to end this line of understanding the horizons, let me just share this book from Springer entitled Higher Education Landscape 2030. So this is about the trend analysis regarding our main options about education 2030. And these main options are, of course, connected with establishing guidelines that are global, defining our priorities in each country, establishing new methodologies regarding curriculum, regarding our syllabus, understanding the needs of our students, and understand the needs of the labor market. So everything comes together because everything is changing. And let me share an example on how everything is changing. A recent study from Dell Technologies has shown that 85% of the professions that will exist in 2030 have not yet been invented. So this is a great challenge for us all, educators, teachers, researchers, members of management boards in universities and schools. How can we anticipate the future? how can we prepare our students for profession, for jobs that do not exist? So this is a very important goal that we have now, is that we have to anticipate actions. We have to anticipate the future. We have somehow to predict the future. How? Well, we have to analyze the trends. We have to analyze the guidelines. We have to analyze what the labor market wants from us, for example. And let's take a look at what happened in our universities during the COVID-19 regarding the digital demands, for example, because we are now living in a digital era. And we had three different stages regarding this digital era. First, we had teaching content digitalization. Then we had teaching process digitalization. And then we had teaching management digitalization. So we had three stages that were quite apart from one another. What happened during the COVID-19 is that these three stages came together, and universities had to understand the need to change. So we changed teaching content, we changed teaching process, we changed teaching management. And all of this because of what was happening to our world. Again, if we cannot understand what's happening to our world, then we are not on track with everything that is required to go ahead and give our students the proper tools to deal with this society, to deal with this new world that is very challenging. So this means that we have to think about our priorities in education, and one of those priorities is technology. I'm sure that technology is a part of our lives, of course, our daily lives, our professional lives. But technology is now changing all aspects of education, not just in higher education, but in all levels of education, in different systems of education worldwide. So, for example, if we take a look of how much money we have spent in EdTech, so technology connected with education, in 2020, we spent more or less 227 billion US dollars. By 2025, we will be spending 404 US billion dollars. So this means that we will increase the spend on EdTech because it is required for our higher education institutions to have better hardware, better software, and to create teacher training programs for our teachers to be up to date regarding this digital era. So this has a huge impact on education. And this huge impact, of course, can be analyzed according to how advanced technology is growing in education nowadays. And for example, when we analyze the rise of AR, of VR, AI, robotics, for example,
Yes, we lost him.
Eu acho que ele teve problemas com a internet dele.
Probably.
Fala inglês aí. Oi.
Probably internet connection issues. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hi, Professor Christina. Very, very good afternoon from India.
Good afternoon, bom dia, bom dia.
Can we take someone, Vilma, if he's joining late, he can continue once he joins. Lika can take lead. She's on the screen.
Hello everyone once again. Today I have a very hard day because I'm at work and I have a small time to speak about the sustainable development. I am really happy when I meet you and the society here. I was looking forward in this meeting the whole year. I'm really happy that my boys will represent Georgia. And here on my another account, my boy is ready to read his presentation, and Lasha will open his presentation share and represent for you. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you once again. Lasha.
Hi, I am Lasha.
Welcome, welcome, young boy, on the forum. My junior gel, keep it up.
What?
Welcome, welcome. You can start your presentation.
I do not have permission to share.
Okay. Beatrice. Just
Vilma, eu estou fazendo contato com os palestrantes. Agora eu consegui mandar que o Luiz Miguel lesse, o José Esteves lesse a minha mensagem, tá?
Global Conference on Education and Sustainability. Sustainable development is an approach to the economic development of a country without compromising with the quality of environment for future generations. In the name of economic development, the price of environmental damage is paid in the form of land degradation, soil erosion, air and water pollution, deforestation, etc. This damage may suppress the advantages of having more quality output of goods and services. The sustainable development can be facilitated through 5 guiding principles: living within environmental limits, ensuring a strong, healthy, and just society, achieving sustainable economy, promoting good governance, and utilizing information communication technology as social responsibility. The goals of sustainable development were first adopted by United Nations members. The concept of sustainable development aims to encourage the use of products and services in manner that reduces the impact on the environment and optimizes the resources in order to satisfy human needs. It is the practice of maintaining productivity and replacing used resources with the resources of equal or greater value without degrading or endangering natural biotic systems. Sustainable development brings together concern for carrying capacity of natural systems with the social, political, and economic challenges faced by humanity. Sustainability science is study of for the concept of sustainable development and environmental science. There is an emphasis on the present generation's responsibility to regenerate, maintain, improve planetary resources for use by future generations. Development of non-polluting renewable energy systems, population stabilizations, integrated land use planning, healthy cropland and grassland, woodland and revegetation of marginal lands, conservation of biological diversity, control of pollution in the water and of the air, recycling of waste and residues, ecologically compatible human settlements, environmental education and awareness at all levels, wind energy, solar energy, crop rotation, sustainable construction, efficient water fixtures, green space, sustainable forestry. Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, or global goals are collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed to be blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. The SDGs were set up in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly, are intended to achieve by year 2030. They are included in UN resolution called 2030 Agenda, or what consequently known as Agenda 2030. The SDGs were developed in the past 2015. The development agenda is future global development framework to succeed the Millennium Development Goals, which ended in 2050. No poverty, zero world hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, partnerships for goals. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Congratulations. Thanks, Teacher Lika, for preparing your students. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention. Thank you. And we have another presentation, another boy who is at home at this moment, and after some minutes later, he will be online.
No problem. Take your time.
Luiz Miguel voltou e o José Esteves, que é palestrante, também estão aí. O Luiz Miguel, daí acho que pode concluir, né? A parte dele, depois entra o José Esteves.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry for the technical delays here. Now I'm online again. So I was just about to continue this topic about EdTech and moving on. So again, why are we so keen on technology nowadays? mostly because all these new technologies are now part of our daily lives, and because of our students, of course, that are also very keen on technology. And when we think about the top 5 industries to which, for example, XR is most applicable at this time, we see that education is one of the top 5. So, of course, technology is helping us a lot in our classrooms, and more or less 96% of teachers believe technology has a positive impact on children's lesson participation and learning. And this is, of course, a valuable understanding of how technology can change the way we are addressing these challenges in this 21st century. So when I think about the most important trends that we have nowadays regarding, for example, how to change our classroom, we always think about gamified learning, the use of big data, e-learning, as we said before, VR-based and AR-based learning, and AI-enabled education. And of course, AI-enabled education is perhaps one of the most important challenges that we have today regarding the understanding of how to establish a new pattern in our classrooms and in our institutions. So when we analyze what were the most important trends for this year regarding EdTech, let us support the words with some data from a survey that was, first of all, intended to understand how startups and emerging companies analyze these trends. And according to 2,866 startups, the most important trends for this year include immersive learning, AI, e-learning, gamified learning, big data and analytics, personalized learning, blockchain, cloud computing, video-assisted learning, and the Internet of Things. So all is connected, my dear friends, with the need of becoming more and more in establishing a dual relationship regarding technology. First of all, understanding the possibilities, enhancing our productivity, enhancing the way we are teaching our students. On the other hand, analyzing some of the consequences of using technology. Because, for example, artificial intelligence is now giving us a lot of thoughts of how to establish a framework regarding ethics, for example. Even today, the Prime Minister of England said we truly needed to create international guidelines regarding artificial intelligence. So the impact of artificial intelligence on learning and teaching and education, for example, is highlighted in the European Commission policy report. And according to this policy report, the path is, of course, by understanding how AI can help us, for example, in our campus. And nowadays we are using AI already when we think about adaptive learning, when we think about chatbots, when we think about personalized learning, when we think about how to create smart content, for example, how we can analyze a lot of information, how we can gather information. So I think the optimistic point of view is shared by this professor from the New York University. So that is our intelligence is most of all what makes us human, and AI is an extension of that quality. So when we address higher education and AI in a common perspective, I think we'll come across the important contribution of AI in education. And we talk already about automated tasks, generation of smart content, course improvement, how to analyze classroom weaknesses, for example, how to get universal access to AI students, how this can help us educate the educator, how to increase participation, how we can become education a more and more personalized process, how we can learn inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom. And of course, AI can help us during assessment activities and grading activities. And nowadays, AI is all around us. For example, I'm sharing 3 examples. On your right, you see a portrait, a painting, you may think, but this is not a painting. This is something that is created by AI. So AI is changing arts, it's changing humanities, it's changing communication, it's changing the way we can use radio, for example. It's changing the way we are building. And this is, for example, what happened in Azerbaijan. The architects use AI to define what were the most important characteristics of this building. And this is the outcome. And the outcome is truly amazing. So AI in education is all about, most of all, challenges and benefits. Of course, applications are so important, but I think we have to understand the benefits of AI in education. And these benefits include global access, include time and cost efficiency, and enhanced learning outcomes. Also regarding challenges, we think about how AI can help us with data privacy and security, with bias and discrimination, and even with plagiarism and academic integrity. So everything about AR, VR, and AR are common trends regarding our future. And when we think about all this, of course, we understand the need to go ahead with AR, VR, and AR solutions. So when we think about, for example, how ChatGPT, Bard, and Bing Chat are changing the way we address the tasks we are giving to our students, for example, some teachers believe that we shouldn't be using ChatGPT or Bard or Bing Chat, but these are tools like any other tools. So we have to give our students the opportunity to understand these tools. They have to think that ChatGPT will not solve their problems. ChatGPT is a tool that is here to help them solve their problems. This is where teachers are needed to establish a connection between knowledge and the skills that the students require to master the technologies, to master the apps, and to master everything that is changing in this real world regarding education and technology. Because, for example, when we think about education by 2030, and according to Audrey Azoulay, UNESCO Director General, of course, AI can be a great opportunity. But as a great opportunity, it also has to establish with us 3 levels of opportunity. First level is student-facing AI. The second is teacher-facing AI. And the third is system-facing AI. So these 3 layers regarding artificial intelligence as an opportunity can connect us with the SDG Education 2030. And again, when we think about what UNESCO is telling us regarding what we have learned from the COVID-19 experience, I think we all agree that we need free and open source technologies for teachers and students. And this was a big problem during the COVID pandemic because we didn't have enough open source technologies. So we need technologies, we need to equip our schools, our educational systems, not just with the hardware and the software, but also the knowledge to manage this educational software that is required for all teachers to master and to share with their students how they can truly understand why they have to be 21st century learners. And our students are 21st century learners because they connect, for example, communication with creativity, with innovation, with digital literacy, with critical thinking and problem solving. So these are the most important ideas that we establish when you think about the portrait of the 21st century learner. This is a learner that has social responsibility, for example. This is a learner who has cultural, global, and environmental awareness. This is a learner who is truly understanding the need to have digital literacy. And when we think about all this, of course, we can compare what happened, for example, a few years back. And when we compare what happened in 2015 and 2020, we come across this comparison. And this comparison is all about the top 10 skills that were required. And the number one skill was complex problem solving. And complex problem solving was truly important in 2015, but also important in 2020. But other skills change. So the list of the skills we had in 2020 already had a different portrait. For example, we had emotional intelligence, we had cognitive flexibility, and we didn't have these skills in 2015. So when we look, for example, what will happen by 2025, and critical thinking, analysis, problem solving, self-management, and active learning will be the top skills that we'll have to master. We as teachers, and of course our students as well. So we have here key areas of change, dear colleagues and dear friends. And these key areas of change include, for example, big data, which is becoming the lifeblood of almost all research. And big data is now creating for us a lot of opportunities regarding research, of course, but also teaching and learning opportunities. And the contributions of artificial intelligence, of AI tools that we are already using in different universities, different polytechnics worldwide. First of all, not just as tools, but also as tools that can predict what is going to happen in the real world. So AI can help our students to get prepared to face their challenges when they become professionals. For example, they're going to become a doctor, they're going to become engineers, they're going to become architects. So they will need to understand how technology works, and these simulation activities can help them prepare for the labor market before joining the labor market, before joining the workforce. This is also happening with augmented reality, with virtual reality, of course. This is also helping our students to engage with more activities that are connected with the real world. And when we think about all this, of course, our conclusions have to be, first of all, technologies such as the Internet of Things, big data, artificial intelligence, and robots are changing our educational landscape. And these are, of course, some of the most important trends in education that we have in this 21st century. Then the researchers' dependence on technology, including artificial intelligence, will increase. At least 52% think they will become more dependent on it in the next 2 to 5 years to come. And of course, education is our common horizon for 2030. And if education is truly our common horizon for 2030, then this means that we have to start thinking about understanding the need of establishing priorities regarding collaboration. So collaboration must be our common goal. Collaboration must be our common purpose. Collaboration must be our common objective. If we want to create a sustainable future for the next generations, this is the path that has to be common for us all. This is the path that has to be common for all nations, for all countries. And if we are united with these goals, I think we can go ahead and take an optimistic point of view regarding 2030. And according to UNESCO and the United Nations goals, then we will have quality education, and then we will have education for all. This is our common goal. So dear friends, let's unite, let's work together to achieve this goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Luiz. I was amazed to see your data analysis. How pandemic has changed our entire approach towards content, process, and as well as the teaching management. Rightly said, we will be highly dependent on technology, and actually do not know what kind of technology is going to come. AI become one of the new tool where lots of discussion are on process. It need to be utilized or not. The same data, same content, which is stored, of course, from the various brain. But honestly, it is not going to give you innovation. It is not going to give you the real solution of the problem. It is the set of solution rather than having innovative problem. You may have an umbrella and you may have a rain together. But when rain comes, you have to open the umbrella. So this is not mentioned when rain will come. So technology is standing at one place, but it is important when it need to be utilized. Technology for destroying things or technology for making things. So these are the questions which are very well awakened by you in your entire talk. We are the smart people, and by taking this data matrix, we have to be proactive, collaborative, and move forward towards the new task. As you said, if by 2030, 85% of these professions will not exist physically, we are there. So what are the new things going to come? In my mind, I have a very, very simple objective. How a mankind can be happy. Machine can make a person happy. I keep talking about two things in my talk, and that is actually the tagline, connecting head to heart. Machine produce something, but where is the happiness? Emotional quotient is missing. Are we doing justification with your life by polluting the air? Are we doing justification by not taking care of her health? So all data and analysis, especially use of technology, was an amazing and heartfelt gratitude to you for your insights, for your lead and cooperation. Thank you so much, Dr. Luiz. I pay my gratitude to you for a wonderful, wonderful content-based data deliberations. Vilma, you can take forward.
Okay, I will. Thank you, Dr. Luiz. And I will read your biography. So, Luiz Miguel Cardoso holds a PhD in modern language and literatures in the specialty of comparative literature from the University of Coimbra, Portugal. He was then of the School of Educational and Social Sciences of the Polytechnic Institute of Porto Alegre, Portugal, between 2010 and 2018, and deputy director of the Master in Media and Society. He was president of Europe's Association of Reflection and Intervention in the Educational Policy of Higher Education Schools in Portugal, 2015-2018. Adjunct professor at the Department of Language and Communication Sciences at the School of Education and Social Sciences of the Polytechnic Institute of Porto Alegre in Portugal, and he is a professor of higher education since 1995. He's a researcher at the Center for Comparative Studies at the University of Lisbon, Portugal. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for your words and thoughts. Sure, we depend on technology, but the way teachers bring students to use the technology, we take advantage on teaching kids in a more advanced way. It's still difficult for some teachers, we know, because some of them don't agree that technology is there. They say no students using cell phone in my classroom because they are disturbing. But if the teacher knows how to deal with that, if the teacher use the technology for sure, the students will learn easier because they are using technology 24 hours a day. So if we teachers use the technology in our favor, for sure they will learn easier. Thank you for your thoughts. And our next speaker is Professor Dr. José Luiz Esteves. So he's a global chair in SDG 4 and GSFN, MBA professor and postdoctoral researcher in innovation for sustainable organizations at PPAD PUC Paraná, Pontifícia Universidade Católica do Paraná, Brazil. Member of ABES think tank and the ACE Academic of Educators in Brazil, former Dean in Business Scholars and HEI Executive Director in Brazil. Core Steering Committee member at Stride Sustainability Research Networks, UK, Brazil. CEO and founder at Exponentials Learning and Educational for Change-Making Platform. Founder of Ed4 Mentors and Exponential Innova Hub Initiatives Brazil, climate leader at the Climate Reality Leadership Program in Brazil. Coalition-wide International Mentorship Program, World Hub member 2020, mentor at ICLEI. Please, Professor, help me if I'm saying something wrong, please. Innovation Mentorship Program, South America. National Award in Child Education by Foundation Abric 3 times the Ben Efficient and Well-being National Award in NGO Transparent and Effective Management by Christ Institute Brazil. Wow, what an honor for a Brazilian guy. Thank you so much for being here. That's an honor. Listen from you. And that makes us really proud that a Brazilian is with all these studies and making a difference for the education. Professor José, the floor is all yours.
Well, the first thing in the morning here in Brazil, it's a good morning. I believe I will be chatting with people worldwide because we are connected through the internet. So good afternoon and maybe probably good night to all of these people that are attending this outstanding gathering of minds, like I like to say today. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here. I do carry Universidade de Aveiro in my heart because I do had experiences in the past with people, not myself, that were able to be attending doctoral studies in Universidade de Aveiro. And I told to myself, my day will come, probably, who knows, in the year of 2024, because I am in the process of obtaining my Portuguese citizenship this year. And so I will be more comfortable to work in Portugal with you. Thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you very much for our beloved team that worked with Global Edu Leaders Forum, Professor Beatriz, who gently made the invitation to be here with you this morning and to talk a little bit about this subject that I consider myself, and I believe all participants that have been here that will consider of extreme importance and urgency to be discussed in the higher education institutions ecosystem and these days. That is a necessary connection, let's put it like this, between higher education, curricula, and sustainability. So I'm really proud to be here also with Professor Luiz Cardoso. I have heard and I know some of these writing papers, and it is really an honor to share this morning here with a high level, outstanding people just like you that are introducing me to. So thank you very much. Welcome you all. I believe we have a very interesting journey. I will take the opportunity to share with you a humble, small presentation that I have made to this discussion today, and believe that we will have some time, maybe teeny time in the bottom end to make a discussion about this. So I will ask your permission to share my screen with you. There could be some delay. I will put in a presentation mode, and you will say if it's okay for you. Are you all able to see this?
Okay, okay.
We can see, but
So
not
let's put
full
in a
background, yes.
presentation mode. Okay. So many thanks, and Vilma, you were outstanding making this presentation, because this is really a soup of letters of institutions, organizations, colleges, and so far. But as a matter of fact, I am a person that you can announce as aprendedor, a word in Portuguese that means that I'm some kind of people that's eager for learning and for education subjects. So I built a bridge a long time ago between higher education and sustainability. I have acted formerly as executive in some international organizations that are dealing with the sustainable issues here in Brazil and worldwide. So I believe it was brave on my part, because I was probably in certain circumstances, I believe, the first educator to talk about this necessary bridge that we are discussing here today. So I will bring to you this small journey about higher education institution and this organizational complexity that we will all face in a minor or a major degree in this what we call post-pandemic times, that it's really a lie. So I will start the presentation with a lie stated in my presentation, the first slide, because we will have a lot of more complexities to come, and that's a fact that we are not in the post-pandemic times. Probably the year 2023 is the first one that we can address like a post-pandemic year. But we all know, unfortunately, that COVID-19 came to remain in the society for the rest of our lives. So it will be like a flu that we take a shot, that has changed it from the first developed one up to this brand new that I have took myself some months ago here, that is in the 5th or the 6th generation. And so probably the same will happen with COVID-19, but somehow we will try to bring, a point where we were before all these catastrophic impacts of COVID-19 pandemic in our, especially in our education ecosystem. So let's go for this small journey. I am Professor José Luiz Esteves. You can go by José Esteves, José Esteves. That is, it's really fashioned. There are a lot of José in the educational arena, and these times, I'm really proud to be here also representing Global Sustainable Future Network through partnership from my beloved Professor Dr. Renuka Thakur, that is in United Kingdom right now. And she brought to me the possibility of go further, talking about education, but with a more deep responsibility that is a change-making education, because we are talking about the SDG 4, that is quality education. So we are not talking about only the access of education, but we do all have to connect our efforts and dots in order to bring this education in our countries up to a higher quality level. I represent, of course, and Vilma had made a very delightful introduction. I will not talk about myself, but I bring some umbrellas also with me, and then we can talk a little bit more about these umbrellas too. I am presently working as an MBA professor at PUC Paraná. It's a Pontifícia Universidade Católica of Paraná here in Brazil. I got my postdoctoral degree in Innovation for Sustainable Organizations, ESG. So I am, as a matter of fact, the first Brazilian, I believe, academic with a postdoctoral degree in this field, which makes me even more responsible for what I am trying to address here in this discussion in this morning. And then Professor Luiz brought us the this thing about artificial intelligence. And so I am also heading a new perception of education with the use of AI, and then we will be able also to talk a little bit later about this. So we are here also at Exponentialis, connecting the dots with artificial intelligence. So and then I would like to make a gift or talking gift for all the participants of this, beloved forum here. That is a scholarship. So I will give you at the end of my participation all details. How can you access? And you can be in our platform doing some courses of your choice. So. Thank you very much. We are here to address this organizational complexity in the post-pandemic times connected to higher education. And I am really interesting to showcase for you one of the most intelligent pictures that I have saw in the past, let's say, 3 years. And I'm always carrying the same photo with me because it showcases our beloved planet Earth, that now, with the strong impact in global society of COVID-19, is wearing a face mask, probably just like the majority of us have done in the the critical years. I mean, in between 2020 and 22, and it indeed affected us in our countries at all, with a major or minor impacts. I can discuss a little bit about the Brazilian society because I am a Brazilian and I'm living in Brazil, but you will be able to discuss it from your point of view and your perceptions with the reflections in your own countries and societies. There is a history of pandemics. I will not take any longer with this. It comes from 430 BC, register of a plague in Athens, up to this moment in the beginning of the year 2020, where we had the COVID-19 coming from a small city for the standards of China, of course, called Wuhan, and from there to spreading out around the globe. And the impact was huge because according to UNESCO, during this most critical period of the COVID-19 pandemic in the world, we had something around 1.5 billion students outside the classroom. So the damage is at large, and we will probably have to face with problems in the learning, especially of children in the years to come. And then there is something that we can put up this pandemic, that is the history of success of some epidemic intelligence that we have, and I'm stating here the case of CDC, that is agents in the United States. So this is just to try to understand that it's almost impossible to discover a cure for something that is new in terms of a disease before. It's really hard because we have to face, even the clever intelligence has to face with the problem of fighting a disease after the disease is spread out. Unfortunately, this is what happened with the COVID-19. It was not different. And as I told you, this is a map with a location in China, and from everything starts, and the point of inflection is the beginning of the February in the year 2020, and we had from then 1.5 billion students outside the classroom. So this is a really global classroom impact according to UNESCO. And then my tutor made a survey in April 2021, what parentings were addressing as the top 5 worries about their teens. When we are talking about higher education, we have to focus on teens in high school. What were they concerned and worried about? And then these was the outputs of these. 64% have become more involved in their child's education. This is what I do believe. It's very special at a glance to showcase. 1/3 of the parents are more now open of having a tutor for the child. Almost 50% of the teens have lost academic confidence. 64% of the parents feel their teen has developed some learning gaps, and this is true from our perspective of educators and professors, and almost half part of the teen's mental health was affected. So this is something that we can bring up to this table discussion as as an outline of this impact that we are dealing with, and by knowing the impacts, at least trying to connect our perception, our educators' perception with these impacts, we will be able to deal with a more appropriate way further. So there are some, of course, McKinsey, explanation about this post-pandemic organization, and the fact that we will have probably to shape it along 3 different dimensions, that is purpose, value, and culture. And how we will address this, of course, we'll have to consider the background of a culture, level of education, economic and social in each one of our countries, but this is something that we will have to consider at all. And there is also another perception that we're making my curiosity flourish. That is, there is something that can tell us how local leaders are sharing this outlook amid pandemic. And yes, there is, and some of them are stated here in this frame that you can see in the blue, in the light blue. It's not a major concern. If you have a middle blue, a concern, but not among my top 3. If you have the green, it's one of my top 3 concerns. And if you have this, dark blue here, you will see it's my number 1 concern. So it is astonishing to me that the local leaders and local leaders here in Brazil are responsible for this fundamental and the middle school organization, and that are some leaders that do not have a major concern by keeping employees safe, providing a safety net, or and even to understand what was the impact on the customers and something. So here we come to a statement of what is really how to manage our organization complexity. So we have a lot of dots to connect in a two-way perspective that all points out from some kind of program management that we will have to put in place. And the higher education institutions will have to enhance really their program management understanding today and in the years to come. This is something that I brought here like an exercise to our minds here in this morning, in this afternoon, or in this early night, probably, as I told in the beginning, in some countries. May disruptive be turned into ordinary in this after pandemic? And this is something that I would like to, give a feedback, because we have a lot of ongoing complexities to look really after a true disruptive initiative, because we all at the same time, it will vary, of course, according to different levels of perception of what is a post-pandemic, but we will have to look further for a lot of ongoing complexities on this disruptive initiatives that are taking place. The large majority of the existing operational organization relies their managerial models attaining to contemporary, but what I like to call, of course, Jura classic, the strategic premises and guidelines. And this is a picture that I'm trying to use to represent this, because we are dealing with disruptive initiative, just like the assembling of an old and current vehicle, a car. We are still assembling fossil fuel cars, despite the fact that electricity will rule the global mobility. We are selling, as a matter of fact, this, what is probably one of the villains of the global warming and all the problems that we are dealing with the climate change in these specific moments of our time, because they are all based in fossil fuel, combustive. So we have gasoline, we have diesel, we have all those things, and no matter how old is this in terms of technology, because it's really something that is in the really beginning of our era of industrialization. This kind of vehicle, we are still, building millions of these model cars with, really tiny pieces and particles that particularly makes a problem to assemble when you disassemble it. And Tesla, I brought some here, on the line in order to say Tesla evaluation overcomes a bunch of these traditional auto symbols. So this is something that we have to bring to the discussion, because we can apply this kind of exercise to our higher institutions, higher education institutions, and try to foresee where we will be in the coming 10 and 20 years from this time on, because we are not dealing only with the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Afterwards, we are dealing with a new complexity that is multi-generationality. So we have a lot of people from different generations, and I will talk about this right now. This is what I call the upcoming complexities to connect all at the same place, generations workplace. We have some kind call it fully profiles. We have added the COVID-19 and the tradigital experience, like I used to say, and we have a mix of this soup of letters of these contemporary administration theories linking each one of these profiles. So we have this soup of letters becoming with the most recently with the baby boomers, and on the perspective of the Second World War, the X generation, the Y generation, the Z, the millennials, the digital natives. We have them all gathering together, and this is a picture that I like the most, that is showcasing, for those that cannot see in an appropriate way, a senior person, an old person, man, wondering what to do with an open laptop, a MacBook, and a kid wondering what to do with the typewriting machine. What kind of toy is this? Where is the turn on button? Where is the game to see? So we, no matter we like it or not, this is something that we have to put into consideration as fast as possible in order to change, especially our curriculum metrics, because they are getting old, they are getting analogic, and they are not any longer, being something to cherish with this bunch of letters that we have in the same learning spaces, in the same working spaces too. There are some complexities to connect. Then here's I bring a little about Brazil and unemployment. The international, the ILO, International Labor Organization, a year back of the beginning, in the year back of the starting of the COVID-19 pandemic, the year 2018, 2019, will get a warn around the globe to see that 1/3 of the young people between the range of 14, or some countries 16, up to 24 years old, we will probably not get a job. So it will be outside the employability. So this is what was before the pandemic starts. So believe how we have to process these things in this after pandemic. So there is a triple impact here in my perception, of course, my humble perception. They lose the opportunity to gain expertise at a vibrant time in their lives. We all know, probably some of you don't, but because you are facing the experience to be in this range between 16 and 24 years old right now. But for me, that is 5.8. Well, I'm more than a turbo guy, reaching the 60s years old. I can remember where I was in this, part of my life between the 16 and the 24th, and it was a vibrant time. But I gained a lot of experience, and unfortunately, they are losing the opportunity to gain this expertise. They face more difficulties with less awards. Downgrade of scholarship offers, lower wages and payments, everything that we see, and it is really, connected to our word, no matter in where you are. So I can talk about Brazil, a Latin American country, European country, and etc. Everything that is going on by this tagline. And they risk affecting, of course, their productive capacities over the next years of their professional life, because if they are not experiencing a job opportunity, how they will enhance, their capabilities, so, skills, everything else. There are some waiting room here in the pre-pandemic call and the higher education in Brazil. And these are the drop-off in the years, the first, the second, and the third in the high school in Brazil. As you can see, they are higher in the first year than in the last one. So the challenge here in Brazil is to keep young people and adolescents in the high school. There are some other connection that I would like to make in this waiting room of the pandemic. That is, this is a graphic. Unfortunately, I don't have it in English, but I can share it with you. 70% of the young people and adolescents between 14 and 29 years old are not in the school in this right moment of the time. And there is a research that I'm bringing here also, but I will not showcase in this in the slide to you, that unfortunately show to us, state to us, that we are really addressing a very serious problem, because we do not have even 20% of the young people at the universities, enrolled in universities and colleges. You know, from the large slice of our cake, only 16% of them are attending and enrolled in a college, in a school right now here in Brazil. So this is something terrible. I believe we have to deal with a really with a very strong effort. The after pandemic in Brazil represented also the falling of high school learning indicators. So we have a drop of almost 6% in terms of enrollment, and students, unfortunately, are also trending to quit the high school in the last year, in the third year. I will give you, of course, and I bring to you the links where you can access this data that is official, that comes from our Ministry of Education here, and the research studies that are linked to the official government bodies. This is a post-pandemic social innovation Hitachi review that I'm bringing to you. And despite of the fact that we can address this post-pandemic with social innovation, we have to make the creation of sustainable societies. We have in the past global economic growth as industrial policy and economic activity, consumption-led, supply chains with productive efficiency, living conditions, material prosperity. And then we are trying to make an evolution by with this creation, or the perspective of the creation of these sustainable societies, and bringing them from this past to this post-pandemic era. And when we talk about industrial policy, we are talking about vision of sustainability. When we are talking about economic activity this day, we are talking about environmental led. When we are talking about supply chains, we are talking about words like resilience and diversity. I can't imagine a world without diversity right now, but we had, and some countries we still have. And in terms of health and safety, we are dealing with psychological. We know how our students and ourselves, educators and professors, get sick, mental health affected. During this pandemic, we are trying also, in some cases, rediscover ourselves from the sickness that we have faced in almost 3 years. So the COVID-19 pandemic gap affected the outputs of the learning quality in higher education around the globe and broadened inequality. This is a drawing that represents and as a matter of fact, the truth in terms of the, disadvantage of the poor people, and the poor portion of the people, the high majority of them attending the public school system here in Brazil. When a pandemic arrived, if you are a mid or high class student, you are able to connect by internet and attend virtual online classes. This is not what happened when you were poor and you have such inequality in terms of internet connection and accessibility here in Brazil. And I believe in other countries of the world too. But here in Brazil, this is at a large, and this is something that I have to bring to the discussion when this discussion is international and global like this one we have, because I will count with you to press to, mitigate this gap that we have here. This is a joint educator effort around the globe. There is some decoding of these classroom impacts that we have to do amidst inequality, and there's this what I call Brazilian clash. So this is an actual picture of a mother, usually a woman that is suffering much more than the man in the pandemic times, because she is a major portion of their time at home, taking care of the children, trying to advance them in an environment that you can see in the picture. Can you show me where is the computer? I see a textbook or in the floor with the family sitting in the floor, and they are and somehow this brave woman and brave everywhere around the globe. They're much more brave than men, definitely. And trying to help their kids. And sometimes she has no education background to do so. At least 2/3 of the parents are affected by this, because sometimes they have just finished the elementary school or some years in the fundamental school, and how they will help the children that were, in the last year of the fundamental school, how they will help the children that were in the high school. It's impossible. I had this experience, but I am a teacher in the higher education. But something that you have to review back in the past, where you have been 30 years from now, it's not quite easy. I love mathematics, I really like. And people say, you're so good in mathematics, you can do, all this stuff in your head. And I say, no, I'm not. I have to, because mathematics is something that is exact, perfect, almost perfect. And this is a perfection that we do not have in our world nowadays. So another picture. And I brought this early draft to showcase to you, and this is not a drawing, this is a picture. Here is a student, doing some kind of homework outside his house. Are you seeing his house? Are you able to see? So, we lack basic things in the large portion of the Brazilian families around the country, and we are talking about a continental country like Brazil. Internet, online classes, only 70% of education networks declared to have completed the 2020 academic year. Almost 5.5 million students in Brazil had no or limited access to school activities, and almost 80% was the degree of difficulty in accessing the internet registered by these networks, especially the public education. Some other impacts to the code, and there are some pictures that I'm bringing to you. Over 137 million children and adolescents left without school activities in Latin American and Caribbean. We count only Brazil, around 4 million elementary school students without access to any school activity. 4 years. And this is something to really reflect about, because I'm not a teacher of so young and children. My children are, older in the university. But this is what education can set back in Brazil to the pandemic. Worldwide, the average is 3 to 9 months. We have reached in Europe something around 4 up to 6 months in terms of impact in learning. And in Brazil, we do expect, because these are the outcomes of the pandemic, we are still processing this. I believe we are all processing this. We cannot mark as an X, but we estimate around 4 years setback in terms of education here in the learning. So this is the Brazilian elementary school highlights, the school approval rates, of course. They have reached the peak and then started to, be on a plane level now. They are coming down again because this is the lack of the learning, the so-called learning gap, when we put here in as a fact in the graphic. So we are experiencing probably in the year 2023 that is still running, but in the year of 2024, the impacts of this gap of learning and of course the downgrade is expected in terms of these school approval. And there are some post-secondary private education and pandemic that we can call this crossroad to up to the stable. Pandemic, over 600,000 students interrupt courses in private higher education here in Brazil. Delinquency of students in private higher education in May reached May 2021 reached average 20%. That was an increase if we compare to the year 2020, a year back. And we're still rolling out the dice and the numbers, but we have a delinquency, especially in higher education, online and distance learning courses here in Brazil of around 50%. It means that drop-off happens in each one of two students that are enrolling in distance learning education. This is really a problem at all. Some private higher education had a drop in the first semester, and they continue to drop, and there is a slight recovery in the year 2022. If we consider the drop of the 2021, that now is dropping in the year 2023 again. Let's see the numbers by December or January in the first 24 to see what happened. But I can assure you that we will have a delinquency and a drop of this higher education attendance and enrollment too. The number of students interested in enrolling, and that is my concern, and higher education dropped it too. In November 2020, intention to graduate in the system was around 1/3, only 1/3, 33%, and now it's around 14%. And the distance learning interest dropped from 46% to 38%, and it's coming down. And what about ESG, connecting the dots within the education ecosystem? So we all are talking about ESG, and we urge to bring ESG framework to our higher education institution as well. We have to decode ESG, of course, for higher education, taking into consideration a lot of perspectives in terms of the environment itself, in terms of the social, in terms of the economic, in terms of the governance that varies from country to country, and the rules and regulations of the higher educations, of course. Here in Brazil, as a matter of fact, we are one of the most regulated countries of the globe in terms of higher education, and it never, ever meaning a quality education as an output in higher education institutions, because we have, a lot of things and that we can compare in terms of higher education to foresee that we have a lot of job to be done in terms of changing the mindset of higher education here in the coming future too. And so what about ESG connecting the dots within the higher education ecosystem? This is an example. We have to put all this global higher education story. There is some, not clear configuration here in this slide, but you will be able to have all this presentation the organizers will send you a link where you will be able to download my presentation today. You have the link to a more appropriate visual picture, but we have a current global situation, and we have to make a change in terms of education. And I would like to address as a change-making and transformative education too. So we have all this in one side, those global higher institutions, and the other side, we have the Sustainable Development Goals impacting the building of curriculum metrics, is impacting how we design our higher education classroom, because we do need really a different classroom for these years to come. We will have to attack this model that somehow we have today. And the European Commission of Education, some couple of 3 years ago, drafted what would be the education classroom of the future. This is a point, or probably an inflection, that we will have to make, because since we are building and we are designing the educator of the future, of course, the educator of the future and the professor of the future, the lecturer of the future, will no longer have a space in the actual classrooms that we have worldwide. And higher education institutions, how convey their community's efforts. It means by community, their students, professors, researchers, the management, to overcome the impacts of the global pandemic. All together, each one as a piece of this puzzle that we will have to connect to have a more brighter and sustainable future in terms of higher education. We're here to move forward and connect the dots between the proven, for example, like I like to address here, and even Professor Dr. Renuka Thakur from Global Sustainable Future Networks is working on a tag in terms of what would be, or probably would be, a sustainable education, or how we can move forward in order to address this issue in higher education institutions. But we have some proven sustainable frameworks, 5 R's, conscious consumption, zero waste, net zero. We have to use them to improve curriculum and higher level, especially of the higher education institution in this post-pandemic, I like to call multi-generational societies. Our projects are at our disposal. Thank you so much. I bring you my contacts. This is the EdTech that I have founded in the year 2019 here in Brazil. And I really, collided with the beginning of the pandemic in the year 2020. So I have been also affected here with projects, but we have done a lot this last 3 years, even with the pandemic. Exponentialis, like you would write it, .com.br. And this is my email, JL Esteves, BR of Brazil altogether, gmail.com. And even my mobile, please do not connect with me and let me sleep a little bit if you consider the timelines, because sometimes I am attending here, calls from something that it's not in my mobile. And people is calling from India, and people is calling from Pakistan, and people is calling from Africa and some countries in Africa, and people are calling from Europe in countries that are 5, 6 hours ahead. And so it's really morning there, it's 7, but here is up like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. But I am really attending all and give all the considerations that you deserve, because my role as an educator is to keep an eye and centering my efforts as an educator, as a lecturer, as a professor in you, especially you students. So we have to deal with the student-centric higher education in this year and in the coming future. So thank you. I will stop sharing right now. I would like to just bring here this is a code, GCES 2023, and there is a a QR code, and you can have and you can address our platform. We are dealing even with the courses in artificial intelligence, so we will give a 50% scholarship to all the attendants of these GCES 2023 to our course portfolio, so you can reach over 60 different possibilities of enhancing your education too. And there is a good news. We have priced it in order to bring EducaZap as a micro-learning possibility to mitigate the gap of learning and education here in Brazil. So the prices are stated in reais that are 150 or 160 of the costs of the probably courses that you will have somewhere around, and you even will apply this, so it is an affordable experience of yours. So this is my invitation. This is a token gift for you that have patiently following with me and my thoughts and my reflections in this morning today. Thank you. Thank you. I will stop now sharing really the presentation and bring myself up to a live mode and be at your disposal to continue here in this fantastic gathering today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Beatriz, Professor Singh. Thank you for your introduction, Vilma.
Thank you, Professor José Esteves. Wow, I am speechless around here listening to your presentation. And indeed, the pandemic was something that changed our lives forever, changed the way of education. And sometimes I listen to people complaining, well, the pandemic stopped my life, the pandemic was a disaster. But I can see that for many people who enjoy the time to learn and to improve their skills, the pandemic was something really important somehow, because it made us develop new skills. It made us get off the comfort zone, and then we had to learn different things. And I'm so happy to meet you. This is the first time that we share the floor, and I'm so happy to learn that you are a Brazilian teacher and professor with so open mind like this. And I'm sure your students are lucky ones to have you guiding them, because this is what we need for education: teachers who are open mind, who are eager to teach students for the future, to help them learn different skills, help them think in a different way. And I can see that you are doing that in a brilliant way, and I'm so happy. And what makes me even more happy is that you are a Brazilian one, and I'm so proud of that. Thank you so much. Dr. SK, would you like to say some words?
Thank you so much, Mr. Jose. In fact, your insights and all technical data which you are keeping, it was amazing. And we all have to take it forward to the ground reality. So this is what Global Edu Leader Forum is trying to do with the efforts of you all. You have a lot of research, lots of data, but our sole duty, this data and research should reach at the right time. We are just 20, 30, 7, 8 years ahead. 3 years pandemic has taken, 3 years preparation has taken. So what we were aiming, it is very near to us. I take this privilege behalf of Global Educated Forums. I take this all data and research to the classroom situation. This is our duty. We are just communicator. We are connecting dots between. So thank you so much. My gratitude to you and for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we could have Lika, is your other student ready for the next presentation?
Yes, yes, it's possible. I will call at this moment and a few minutes means. Okay, just a
Please.
moment, please.
Thank you.
Dear educators, few things what I was thinking about. Okay, let's discuss these all problems, and in the second version, I wish I can take this content from conference to classroom, especially the teenage classroom. Switching off light can be a habit. Closing the water tap can be a habit, which is generated, of course, at the childhood. Still, I remember my father used to tell me, switch off the lights. So that was a dictation, but it became a habit. Dictation sometimes works, sometimes motivation works. So why can't this all content of the research we can take in a small pictorial font and we can take to the classroom? Why this is not a curriculum in the school where save water, save nature is only in terms of learning content from the book and writing in the examination? Why not the question is being asked, the quantity of oxygen you are using in this life, have you planted trees so they can be produced for others? So whatever take from the nature we are taking, this is our sole responsibility. This product should be regenerated by us only. If we are consuming oxygen, we are responsible to produce oxygen. There are thousands ways and means. Why can't be celebration of the plantation of tree? Why it is only party on beaches? Why can't be a meditation in each society in the nature? Why it is in the 5-star air-conditioned rooms? So these are the few points which comes to my mind, and I keep discussing with my professional friends, those who are really working well, and they are the motivating. So my young junior is here. I want such young junior. I really delighted. Once I see these young people coming on the forum, presenting something, it is really an amazing feeling. Thank you and welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
I cannot share for personal reasons. So I'll start just reading. First Global Conference on Education and Sustainability. My name is Konstantina Inamashvili. I am 7th grade student, SPC ambassador. I am from Georgia. Sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development is a process for meeting human development goals while sustaining the ability of natural systems to continue to provide the natural resources and ecosystem services upon which the economy and society depends. While the modern concept of sustainable development is derived more strongly from the 1987 Brundtland report. It is rooted in ideas about sustainable forest management and 20th century environmental concerns. As the concept developed, it has shifted to focus more on economic development, social development, and environmental protection for future generations. What is sustainable development goals? In September 2015, the United Nations General Assembly formally adopted the Universal Integrated and Transformative 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, a set of 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The goals are to be implemented and achieved in every country from the year 2016 to 2030. Sustainable development has three main parts: environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, political sustainability. Environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability is the rate of the renewable resources harvest, pollution creation, and non-renewable resource depletion that can be continued indefinitely. If they cannot be continued indefinitely, then they are not sustainable. Economic sustainability. The general definition of economic sustainability is the ability of an economic to start define the level of economic production indefinitely. Social political sustainability. The ability of a community to develop processes and structures which will not only meet the needs of its current members, but also support the ability of future generations to maintain a healthy ability. Why is sustainability important? This is placing an increasing burden on economies worldwide, as well as the cost that has an average homeowner faces. We consider a move to greater sustainability in all aspects of life, critical to our future. We only have one Earth. We must find ways to reduce our harmful impact on environment. And how can sustainability be achieved? To eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, to achieve universal primary education, to promote gender equality, to reduce child mortality, to improve maternal health, to combat AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, to ensure environmental sustainability, to develop a global partnership for development. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your presentation. Congratulations on your English as well. Congrats, Teacher Lika. Congratulations on the hard work that I've been doing with your students.
Thank
For
you
sure,
so
you are
much.
also making a difference. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is education for real life, empowering the students to learn, to communicate. That's pretty important. Vilma,
Pode
Yes?
encerrar a sessão, pede para o SK encerrar a sessão da manhã, que os outros não vão conseguir chegar, tá?
Okay. All right. Dr. SK, would you like to say some closing words? We won't have any more speakers for now. You are muted.
My heartfelt gratitude to the speakers, those who have enlightened the session, especially two young leaders and two my senior elder brothers, those who have depth research, data, technology, and futuristic plan. So I think this session was very fruitful, connecting two things. One is a future projection plan and technology. And second, the youngsters, those who have given this presentation, is the real inspiration for the other youth. I firmly believe Global Edu Leader Forum is in right direction, bringing experienced experts along with the future ready youngsters. So this is insight within me. Again, I will repeat my thought, which I keep repeating. The Global Edu Leader Forum is a journey of excellence, connecting all intellectuals from each part of this globe. We are starting, but we are sure we will reach to our right direction with the full effort and positive energy. I really appreciate effort of Mr. Jose, in the morning Dr. Luiz, and my two youngsters, and Wilma being a wonderful moderator, Beatrice, who is putting efforts all the time. Without your contribution, these such things were not possible. Dr. Elizabeth, sitting in Portugal, who is the co-partner and who is hosting this conference. My heartfelt gratitude. At last, but not the least, Madam Maria. She is one of inspiration source of this globe. She is not limited to only Brazil. Her wishes, her blessings, I keep receiving by seeing her on the screen. That's all for today. Hope to catch you in the next session. Thank you one and all.
Bye, everyone. See you in the afternoon session. Bye-bye for now.
Everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth. Thank you, Madam Maria. Thank you, one and all. Can we have a click of ending session? Beatrice, you have to come. Lika, if you are here, you have to come. Closing photograph. 1, 2, 3, 1. One more. Victory. Thank you.